I became a co-owner of that business when it was whatever, 30K a month or something. And then we did 100K, 250K, 500K, $1 million a month. We launched the entire VSL funnel from scratch in 48 hours. With slight iterations over time is what did 72 million of our now like 84 million we've cash collected.
Here we are. I've got a new guest on, Mr. Ryan Clogg from YouTube, from several big info businesses. This guy's been doing some cool stuff. I've watched him over the years, and now here we are sitting down. He's been on a roll on a tear. He's filmed definitely more YouTube videos in the last probably 2 weeks than I did in the last 5 years. So yeah, we're gonna talk about how he got started in the info space, online marketing, and then what he's doing today. Why he's making all these awesome YouTube videos with great people. So Ryan, thanks for
the intro. I love the intro. Yes, I too have watched. We were just jamming a little bit before this, but I have watched a bunch of your content for years and years. So a lot of your longer form stuff, a lot of lead gen world. So we can go into that, but I have a bunch of good buddies that are in the lead gen world, and you're very highly talked about. So
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
How'd you take me back? What year was it you jumped into digital marketing, paid ads? Where did this all start?
Yeah, so like OG of this, which I don't even know if I've actually talked about a lot of this, but a lot of my stuff that I share, I don't know if you've seen it, but I went 120 days just like hammering very specific, like spewing information that was how to do a sales automation tracking for this one thing in info coaching, how to do CRM management for contextual flows in info coaching, like very detail oriented. And some of them kind of zoomed out to like how I look at things or how we approach things. But like story arc, and I don't think I've shared a lot of, but yeah, initially I bought my first course. I had to have been 18, 19 probably. Now I'm 28, so 10 years ago. And I bought one that was specific to Instagram shout outs. And I, of course, I have no idea what's going on at this point, right? So like I've never done any of this. Like I remember being on Instagram 3 or 4 years after it came out because it was what girls used. And like we wouldn't get on it. And like the same guys I know in this world now were buying and getting Instagram handles of all the top everything and selling them for 10K and 30K and whatever because they understood. And like I didn't understand, right? So yeah, I bought an Instagram shout out course that basically taught reach out to these like meme fan page, whatever things. They will then, pay them $200. They'll put link in bio in a story or in a post and whatever. I think it was even before stories, and put a post on there, and we'll keep it up for 24 hours for $250. Link in bio is a one-page lander that was an opt-in that would be free training for this or free whatever. And the entire business model was the thank you page redirect was a ClickBank link. So the idea being that you just liquidated your $250 you paid on that almost, fully. And I did, which is hilarious. I would liquidate on, sending it to like a beach body or whatever was on ClickBank at the time. And then you have all the email list, you have an Aweber list of what they taught. And then you just mail your list 3 times a week. You do value. And then, or it was like 5 times a week. It was 3 values, 2 CTAs. And I just didn't have the copywriting chops. I didn't have the understanding that I could have paid someone to email my list and take a percentage of affiliate rev. I just didn't understand. Right. So like I got to the point where I had to shut that down, export everything out of Aweber because I couldn't afford the Aweber bill.
You were
So like
getting free leads, but
I was
weren't.
literally liquidating fully. So I had whatever it was. I still have the list this day. I could pull it up, but it was in women's fitness, which is like funny now looking back, but it's in women's fitness. And I had a 22,000 person list. And I literally would make like $17 when I would email the list because I was just I couldn't even tell you like an open rate, a click rate, and like I didn't understand that. I didn't understand what I was sending to. Like it was just bad. So yeah, that was the original arc of it. And that just started up. At that time, I had tried to go live in this like private equity thing and like try and do all this crazy stuff. I didn't know what that industry was and was like gunslinging, trying to figure it out. Whole deal fell apart. Business partner was taking money from the business, like all these things I didn't know at the time. Moved back to my hometown and just started buying drop shipping course and this course and that. And in the end, it was just like service-based work where I actually would start making money. So I built a website. I would run someone's ads for a little. I'd get some retainer. I actually built a lot of like in-person dashboarding units because I would go, somehow I fixed this thing for someone and they wanted reportable. It was a big thing I'm trying to remember the business network name, but where everyone was like, oh, we need KPIs and dashboards, live dashboards for like home service style businesses. And
Yeah.
so I would go with like 20 G's and install Raspberry Pis behind TVs that were hung up that would connect to a Rise Vision where they could put like a Google Sheet that was like a published Google Sheet or whatever that was connected to their data. And they would go from Rise Vision to Rise Vision on their TVs on a Raspberry
Crazy,
Pi that
man.
code and set up. So I would make like 20 grand from that or like 15 grand from this, like just random shit like that. And then I'll shut up, but like zoom up towards I bought Sam Ovens owned consulting.com. Now Iman owns consulting.com. But I bought the up level course in the middle, which was all about how to first course was all about acquisition. Second course was all about productizing your service and having basically an info product with group coaching. And the back end was like the mastermind side. I bought the middle one that was $5,500. And I didn't really, I just, make money online, make all this money. Like that was the whole idea of it. I didn't really understand it was that I'm going to become a consultant or coach and have to sell some service. I didn't really have a lot of skill set at that point other than the stuff I had. So I very quickly was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And I met a guy in the group that was a lot smarter than me and a few years older than me that bought it to build it around somebody, which is the very tried and true now way. People take the marketer and the expert, they call it offer publishing, they call it growth operating, growth consult, what all these things. You take someone and you build this entire business model around them and you are behind them building the business and they're the expert brand face coach consultant, whatever. So he had done that. And they were doing like 20, 30K a month or something. I reached out to him. We got connected, started doing random sales page builds on ClickFunnels for like 1,000, $2,000 every 6 weeks. And then, fast forward calls and says, how do we take it to 10 million? I said, let's do a call funnel. We moved the whole business to a call funnel. I became a co-owner of that business at that time when it was whatever, 30K a month or something. And then we did 100K, 250K, 500K, $1 million a month. Then last year we did 30 million from that same business funnel, everything. So
What opened it up by switching to the call funnel? Did you change the offer with it too?
yeah, completely. Yeah. So instead of, which is funny looking back because now like webinars are hot again and it's like this big thing. And we probably even then could have run it. Like when we first ran it, it was $500 and we were selling it over the phone. And as an info
Wow.
product, and it was an info product that we built based on the Ovens OG framework of like this very in-depth course, the group coaching calls. And it was lifetime access to an info product with group coaching calls. And we
But
sold it for
this
500 bucks.
this was 2019,
This is
2018,
2020 now.
2020.
This
So
is
you've been
2020
probably
because I remember because I rented an Airbnb during COVID in Arizona and I was locked in. I have a picture of my desk, which my desk was the dining room table from the from the Airbnb with two lamps that I pulled the shades off so I could get good lighting for my face for the stuff I was doing. Like, yeah, so it was mid COVID when I bought three courses. I bought one. The other co-founder had bought one, and then the business bought one, which was crazy to me that the business could pay for something I didn't have to pay for it by myself. So we paid like 15 G's in courses. I watched all of them in 2 days. We launched the entire VSL funnel from scratch in 48 hours.
and it worked.
And it worked.
Obviously.
And it worked for that same funnel with a ton of iteration and different hosting changes and all the million things. But that same exact funnel with slight iterations over time is what did 72 million of our now like 84 million we've cash collected.
What were you selling? It was more of like a coaching service versus an info product when you flipped the offer.
Yeah, so the info products we got up to 1 million a month. At that time, we got it up to like basically 1250 to 1500 sale over the phone plus internal pay plans, no external financing whatsoever, and just hammering calls like 300 calls a day, 30-minute time slots back to back to back. All of our sales reps were clients from our community. Like we were gunslinging. We had no idea. But because fulfillment was zero essentially in cost, the math worked because we were, basically direct response and then just converting right there. So the fulfillment was like nothing. So it was an info business truly. And we were doing 30, 40% margin on that. And we got that to 10 million. So we were like stuck at this 10 million number. It was kind of fatiguing. The market was kind of shifting. And we had this one-on-one offering with coaches and we just switched the offer to that. It's kept everything the same, kept the funnel the same, the ads the same. You're applying, getting on the phone, and on the phone, instead of, hey, it's $1,500 for lifetime access to this course, it was you get a one-to-one coach. And that was, I think, when we started selling it, 5 or 6K a year. And then now is upwards of 7, 10, depending on how you kind of package it. But that is what took us in 1 year from 10 to 30.
Wow. Just
Yeah.
higher value offer, more or less like
Brute force. Yeah.
me.
Higher value offer. Wholesale team needed to change basically because they were customers of this $1,500 product. Now you needed kind of more aggressive sales reps. You got a cold lead essentially getting on the phone with X amount of consumption. Now you're selling them something $7,000 or whatever, or 6,000 instead of 1,000. So everything needed to level up. We moved everyone W-2. We now had to build an entire coaching staff and fulfillment team. We have 70 plus coaches, one-to-one coaches that then have rosters of 50, 100, whatever. So, thousands and thousands of active clients.
It's cool, man. I
And yeah,
remember, yeah,
yeah.
I remember like the first entrance into the info world was before I started my gym, I was basically I just finished university and I was trying to figure out how to get clients, right? And my buddy, he owned a martial arts school and he was opening up a few more locations and he dove into Dan Kennedy. So he started going to all these Dan Kennedy events where you'd see like Russell speak and a lot of the big info guys of the 2010s that maybe aren't around as much. They've kind of aged out and they didn't really
Yeah.
adapt. So yeah, it's super cool to see fast forward from that point, 7, 8, 9, 10 years where you actually built a legitimate operation that's still crushing it. It's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
no, and like even the last 6 months, like my frame or like how we talk about things, and I think the YouTube thing helped a ton too about like being able to articulate it and like put it on paper to think through it before you say it and like all that stuff. But for a long time, I don't want to say we didn't take it serious. That's probably like the wrong word, but it was like cash flow info coaching, like an info business. That's what it was. And that's what it was built to be. We all had all these other interests. I would do like random VSL call funnels, side gigs, side work, like all the, and it was never like the core main thing. That's not true. It was the main thing, but it was like, there's a lot of horsepower in the founders and the team and everything that we all also had other interests. And because we weren't like harnessing it into this, it was only so big. It was only so profitable. It was only so, front of mind in that way. So we exploded when we went from 10 to 30. Like we had a 2-person marketing team. We had like an agency that we were paying 130 grand a month to manage all the spend and all creative. CPAs going like this. We were like not even tracking it or care. Like the economics just got squeezed when we scaled like that, and we just kept ramming it, and then eventually it just broke. Like the marketing, we were running through one funnel that like just eventually like fatigued in its own way, and we can go a million ways of this, a pixel track and this and that, but like it turned into we need to be a business on an offer, right? So we had already done that on terms of like fulfillment and like org charts and team in that way, but like how we were operating, not just who was operating it, needed to be cleaned up. And that was a really big shift that happened for us. End of Q3, everything exploded. Like we were going like this last year in July was our peak month. We did 3.7, and after that it was literally like if I showed you my stripe chart, it's like boom until it lands at like 1.5, which is basically break even for us because we got to spend in for ads. We have very little organic, so you got to spend in for ads plus overhead. So just that right there is like basically break even at 1.5 million, and we were like stuck in this little zone. Even for the first 3 months of this year, we we're at about 1.5. I started making YouTube videos 2 months into that, and then I did the daily YouTube videos and whatever, which is not like a direct correlate, but like just to show what we were all up to at that time. And then now we have 6 or 7 front ends that are live. We have insane new C-suite, new CMO, new chief of sales that just came from an organization. They did over 9 figures on the phones, basically a little under 9 figures on the phones in info coaching, full fulfillment side, retention team, like all this stuff that we didn't have. We were a hamster wheel of acquisition. So like we didn't even have like renewal teams and like even knowing them
Tons of money
names.
was left on the table for
So much,
sure.
tens of millions were left on the table.
Dude,
Tens.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
what it sounds like your journey's not that much different than Hormozy. Like when I joined Gym Launch in 2017, I think it was really just an offer of him helping you get more people in your gym by running his offer. Right. It was that simple.
yeah,
And then he expanded into leadership and like the live events. And then he had
yeah,
his like 12-month back end that he would sell. And then he fucking sold this thing for like 60 million. It's crazy, man.
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, he is one of 2 or 3 people I've heard of. I know another guy that sold one for like 2 or 3 million in some like interesting deal structure that isn't like not really that attractive. He sold obviously his, and he talks about it on a couple of those pods, but like the future cash being the most important part and like the consistency of it, not as much the acquisition. Like, yes, it's important to like have, but it was much more so on what's the renewal engine, and how the important parts for that was people stick around and pay the weekly, monthly, whatever the setup was, so that they could get access to the new fresh ads and they could get access to the trainings and stuff. And like that piece plus the supplement piece plus all of that. And just super operator clearly. And crushed it. And then I know another guy that I've heard sold minority of his for 40. Minority.
It's not common. This isn't a common
No, in
thing.
info coaching, extremely uncommon because of the brand face, because of the, certain reliance on acquisition channels, the face in product, the face in marketing. It just is it's a very, human led, like a personality brand led than it is like an actual operation business. Everyone always says like in our world, it's like, oh, what offer you on? Or like what offer are you running? And it's like you have to not be an offer. You have to be like a business. You have to make that transition from offer to business. And I have the pipe dream of getting, this to a point where it sells and hitting exit velocity of info coaching. And we're in a space where we can have other things we can sell that are physical products, that are XYZ things that I think could build this in a way that it could do that. And I'm trying to build in that direction. And we're sacrificing cash flow to do that in terms of like, do we have a full W-2 team? We have like all of these things that are not common for a high margin cash flow info coaching business. So maybe shooting ourselves in the foot, maybe stupid to be doing it, but like we're making an effort to go in that direction.
Yeah, I can see there being like a whole e-com arm to this
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
not even tapped
100%.
into.
100%.
'Cause
Yeah.
you're selling to weight loss clients, right? That's like the primary consumer.
Yeah. 40 to 60-year-old women.
I mean, dude, you could build like a GLP-1 brand off the back of this.
Yeah,
Like,
our ethos are directly against GLPs, but we're for like HRT. We have a big core supplement stack that we like again, and we don't even make affiliate commissions on this kind of stuff. I have a funny story about that. But last year let's go into it. Last year we had a uh basically focus of how else can we like what partnerships can we have? What else do these people already buy? Like what's the Hormozy thing say, right? He's like, if someone else, who else has your customer? So we found somebody that had really good supplements. We're extremely like brand quality focus. So it's a big reason we haven't even done certain things around like swag is like the material needs to be good enough. Like we lean too heavy. So we found this partnership and it was basically one of those like swab tests first. So it's like a swab test and whatever XYZ hormone thing and whatever panel. Then they send it back. They get on a call. They go through the results and then they pitch them on XYZ thing that'll solve that specific thing. And then we get a commission. So we're like, cool, we're going to do this whole partnership. Again, I was not fully embedded in this. I didn't look at the math correctly. We were all just kind of doing our own thing. Cool. It's another little add-on. We'll make another 10 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand a month, call it a day. The math was that anybody who purchased directly, I had the order forms submit to order them a test kit. We were paying $250, roughly $300 something. And this company is great, by the way. So it's not like a shit on the company. It was just the partnership, the math. And we pushed basically a test kit so we get dinged $250. So it would directly come off cash collected to order them this test kit. I finally got the math over all the months of us trying this. And like we were making an effort to make it work. Only 50% of the people who even got the test kit were sending them back. So there's some quick math, right? Then of the 50 that then sent it back, only like 50% were then booking a call. Of the calls that were booked, 70% showed like your classic funnel.
yeah,
I just didn't understand that these were not going to be like a much higher, rate. It was like almost like a cold funnel. It was like only half are doing this, only half are doing this, 70% are
the
showing.
drop off was
Yeah.
massive.
And then
Yeah.
so by the time you get on the phone, it's like, oh, 30% of people are buying. And then the average order size is 200 and something bucks, and you get like a 40% commission. It was like popping out $30 of the people who did it. You blend that across, and it was like we're spending $250 to make like $15, like a per unit basis. So we literally lit it's like 1.1 or something directly on fire. Like
Was
just
that like a recurring model with the
yeah.
product?
So like technically, yes, we still get some like MRR, but
But
it is
it's
so I can't even look
CPA.
at it. It's so low. I can't
Yeah.
even look at it. It's so low. So yeah, like ideally there was some big like MRR LTV play that just never flashed out. So it's like now it's how do we do that in-house or what kind of white label situation? Because now instead of relaunching that in a model that would work with affiliate, I would rather own portions of the infrastructure and the supply and like all that so it would add to this, goal of equity value instead of just having like an affiliate commission that hits the P&L and make another million a month from that. I would much rather have like we white label supplements or we produce supplements or we own the telemedicine infrastructure or like whatever it is versus just sending them out and getting a check.
Yeah, I gotta connect you to my buddy. Do you know James Van Elswyk?
Yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know him, but I've heard of him.
He's pushing big on telehealth. He built a platform around it, which is basically like automating and connecting the pharmacy for compound pharmacies in the States with doctor networks. So it's like it basically streamlines
Yeah,
approval
I
for.
definitely want to talk to him.
Oh, I'll do an intro. This will probably be
Yeah.
like an easy add-on. And dude, he I went to his mastermind he did in Vegas, and I've talked with him about it as well, outside of that event. And just like the CPA against the LTV, even if you're operating as a brand that's more or less like arbitraging the pharmacy, which is taking a 10x markup on the medication, like
Yeah.
when you pay and then mark it up on the consumer at the end, right, through your brand. It's crazy, man. The economics are nuts. Like
The
this,
economics are nuts. Yeah.
whether you want to do GLP or do a custom formulation that the doctors can approve, and they also take the liability because they're prescribing, right? You're basically
Ah, okay, yeah, because that's what I'm trying to understand. It's like, who do I need on staff in order to own as much of the infrastructure? Like, I look at it as like, there's an affiliate commission you get over here because you just send someone's email and like refer them, and then the other side is like, I'm formulating, manufacturing, doing. And I was like, I want to live like right here, where it's like I can own the conversation, the infrastructure of like, I need an MD, I need three RNs or whatever that are in every state. I mean, whatever that stack is, and then white label version of what I deliver in terms of physical product or physical. But like, yeah, I mean, I see this stuff all over X. It's like they don't know the LTV of TRT and HRT because it just keeps going up because people don't
yeah.
get off. Like
Why
that
would you
shit's
ever stop if you, well, yeah, I mean, if you do TRT, you kind of can't stop, right? Like,
yeah, right. Like those things. And again, our target demo is like female only, but like we surveyed the community and it's like how many of them take all these like we recommend they take all these supplements that are not like, like that are like core whole supplement style. And then HRT wise, like over half the communities, like we have so many of these people of our customers that buy these other things that we could have a hand in and make the experience better too, where it's not there because like different people do use different ones. You see them in the community talk about like, oh, I had a bad experience with this or this. It's like we could, you know, white glove this completely and
yeah,
package this whole thing up. Same thing with the blood work, same thing with the hormone testing. So yeah, no, it's a fun game. It's a fun game, but yeah,
I'll make that intro after we
yeah,
finish.
please. Yeah,
What's interesting too. So not to keep like just spotlighting Hormozy, but when we were in gym launch, you know how he built Prestige Labs, and I think he rolled that up and sold it too. So the way he actually launched it, he didn't go direct to consumer. He took all of his coaching clients. So he had, I think in that at that point, like this is not near the peak. This is like the pre-COVID peak. It was like 2018-ish, or maybe going into 2019. I was still in his group. And there was probably 1,000 to 1,500 gym owners in there, all
yeah,
like paying premium to be in his
yeah.
coaching. And
Just
what he
full
did
distribution.
what he did is he had us become affiliates for him to distribute Prestige Labs to our customers on
Yeah,
subscription. And he did it through like challenge. So first he ran a challenge of the gym owners and then like get in shape and get ripped because it will benefit your business, which it did. And then that testimonial trickled down to the customer base inside of every gym. So he took, I don't know, let's say 1,000 gym owners out of 1,500 were active, and each had 100 customers. Like, just do the math on that. Like, that was his initial like free distribution to like prime paid consumers. It was
yeah,
it
it's
was
crazy.
nuts, and then he obviously blew it up from there. But same
Yeah,
same kind of idea, like runs in line with what we're talking about, like the telehealth stuff, you know.
yeah, no. Yeah, he's sharp. I've watched endless amounts of his content, endless amounts of it. I mean, never paid for any of that stuff. I've learned a lot from these courses and like info guys and gurus or whatever you want to call them. Like for 10 years, I watched everyone's everything. I have two screens right here. I have this one that would constantly be, I mean, literally like your stuff. Like as one of the people there, I have 100 versions of that. That is everyone from a Hormozy to a Becker to an Ovens. Those are kind of like the core OG ones, Imans, and then down the rabbit hole goes like your stuff, like a Carlos, like anything. I told Adam when we were on the call, like I sat in a cigar lounge and watched from A to Z the entire paper call masterclass thing that he put out that's like 8 years old now or 10 year, whatever is old. And like literally went through like three cigars and had another sheet open in Notion and just took notes about it all. So that's
So
by the time I actually bought that book, by the time I bought that book, I literally started to read it and was just kind of like, I'm gonna bounce around because it's basically the entire paper call masterclass, and I had already consumed that. And I was like, for everyone who hasn't, and like it's a better delivery method and like consumption method for people because that is a very long course and it's very like OG now. But yeah, it's like I just have always done that. So it's the first time now spewing shit, and now I'm done. Now I just like now a couple of these fun ones a week. But
yeah, oh yeah.
yeah,
So with your brands, do you ever take on affiliates for traffic to your funnels, or did you keep everything in-house?
everything has been in house this entire time. So, we have danced with it. The biggest thing for us. So first off, we can't get paid unless they talk to someone on the phone. So we don't do anything direct to cart. We have low ticket now, and that was the most recent time that we talked about doing affiliates because the sales cycle, if you run to a VSL opt-in funnel or an application funnel, sometimes can be very long. very, very long. So like it doesn't work for someone to consistently spend into without, basically trust and handshake. So the quality and the volume are my two biggest concerns. So now that we have low ticket, we can do that where we can just punch it through. But the thank you page, the entire goal of our low ticket is they're low ticket ascension funnels, not low ticket like AOV focus funnels. So we're not worried about directly like full liquidating or anything or profiting even at all on the front end. It's purely built so that then when they buy, they then book a call and they book a call with a setter, and it's like their onboarding call or their implementation call, or whatever you want to call it. They book that. Like 70% of the people who buy low ticket book that call, and they talk to a setter, and the setter pushes them to a closer, and then they buy the high ticket thing. So it's like to try and go with the timeline from low ticket to high ticket ascension. So if we sold 1,000 of them tomorrow because an affiliate hammered it to their list, it would break all the calendar widgets. So the
Yeah.
same way that if they did on the application or opt-in thing, it's like, and you got to assume it's not the highest quality off the rip or in general because they're trying to drive it down. So like for us, it's been like, we'll just run it in house thus far. But I'm like super down to, and especially if we had some direct to cart situation that actually just looked profitable and I knew my numbers, like all good, let's run it. But
Affiliates also ruin everything, so keep that in
yeah,
mind.
yeah, exactly.
And this is coming from someone that is, I guess you could say I'm an affiliate. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't like to put myself in that box for good reasons, as you can probably guess. Have you thought about testing? I know obviously you had Adam Young on your podcast. Have you thought about testing inbound calls and doing the filtering through like a call center or even like an AI?
So yeah, more PR guys. I did the PR thing for the last 3 years, and I had a couple buddies down there. Like my core friend that was down there is a big lead gen guy that I'm sure you actually know. But they did a ton of pay per call. So the reason I know about that is because we go sit at a cigar lounge and they'd have some, they're just like gunslinger guys with some ClickFunnels landing pages and do, multiple
Crazy
CCAs every
volume.
day,
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy volume, and they like just do their thing. But they would always have these tech issues. So I was in all these group chats and I would like sit there next to them and we'd be, drinking and having cigars and doing whatever. And I would build these like Ringba posts back. And like, I didn't even know what any of that was until I was doing like post backs for them from, Ringba, Red Track, and like the whatever CRM for some ACA thing or some debt thing, and I would just do those.
Yeah.
So I met other guys down there that had live call centers, like actual that were did a lot of live transfers, and they also did they did other whatever things, let's just say, in that world. And so I got connected with them and then used them for my call confirmation team actually for like 3 to 6 months. So they would call, they would instant dial, they were in our CRM, they were in our everything, and they would instant dial everyone when they booked and confirm the booking. And be like, yeah, it's a Zoom call, is this time zone correct? Like all this stuff. But they didn't have enough context. So eventually, long story short, we brought that team in-house. And then the newest iteration of this is we just now are adding a phone number that round robins our setter team, because now we have like 25 setters. So we're going to have an inbound phone line, which we've never had in the entire company history. It's literally going live today. So it's funny you say that.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, but they're going to dial into there. So we'll see how many the uptick in bookings we get from that. Because again, our demo is exactly what you're saying. It's that 40 to 60. It's they want to skip the line and call. They just want to have their questions answered. Like the medium in which they want to communicate is not like through this application and then book this call through here and then show up on a Zoom call and like all this stuff. It clearly works. I mean, we're doing great right now, but just offer more options.
I mean, all of it works, right? And you're getting the true LTV of the customer. So you could like experiment, which makes it fun. Like as an affiliate, often like as a true affiliate, you're often selling traffic to network, which is taking a rip off of maybe someone else is taking a rip. So the true payout from the end, let's say it's an insurance company, like insurance floor, right? They might actually be paying on a CPA basis 120 to 150 for ACA, right? But they back that out to a pay per call based on a time length of, let's say, 90 seconds. You probably have heard this just with the circles you run in. So let's say that 90-second call sells for 60 truly from the insurance company. The publisher or affiliate at the front of the network is probably getting like sometimes 35 to 40, right? So it's like the economics are just wonky, man. But it's cool to hear that you're able to apply the concepts, but then like see truly run an experiment. You are the advertiser in this case,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I know people. I'll talk to these lead gen guys. I was like, wait, so you own like the whole thing, like back to the bank account? And I'm like, yeah, like on initial convo. But the crazy part about that industry for me is just how many people get paid. like how many people are in that chain. I had someone explain to me. I had Nate Anslet on, who's
Yep. I
right?
know
So
he
yeah,
hangs
he's
out down here in Medellin with me. I've seen him a
yeah,
few
yeah, yeah.
times this
So yeah,
year.
yeah, he's hilarious. He just cracks me up on socials. But so he was explaining, I had him, break it down on everyone who gets paid. And I even think we're missing people when we did it that time, but it was like 5 or 6 people, like from this person to this, to the agent who's actually on the floor, to the this, to that, the live call we didn't include. The amount of brokerage that usually actually does happen is, 1 to 3 layers deep,
Sometimes
that
more.
multi-year. Yeah, and it's like that kind of stuff is just insanity. Like it's everybody gets their little rep, whether it's $1 per call, whether it's 1.5%, whether it's a whatever, like it stacks. It's so yeah, it's so wild. And
It's
then
nuts.
that was so funny to me, like communication, like everyone's on Skype and then now it moves to like Teams and like the whole industry is just
It's such a mess, dude.
yeah,
It's so messy. It's
yeah,
super disorganized, chaotic. Like, well, we've had some record months this year, and like the next month, like I'm going into this month, we had some issues with the buyer literally a week ago, and my revenue may be cut in half. I don't know yet. It may not be. Like
yeah,
it's just the chaos of it. I mean, but you can make a lot of money doing it, right? But I know guys that they're set for life after they got in at the right time with the right offer, with the right people, had the right skill set, just like some luck too, right? It's always a little bit of luck. And they're set for life, man. They're just making money for fun now. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and the guys who have the like real handshake deals, like you're saying, that are just the forever deals. That are like I connected these two guys, or I brokered this one thing, or it goes through one pass through that I have set up that I never have to touch again. And every single one of those rips $1 or $3 or whatever. It's
It's
like
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy, especially when you like even when you said like getting, even beyond that of broker layers. Like there's so many of those guys I've heard. I'm not even in it like really in depth in the space, but I don't know. That you're in the industry that I would be in if I wasn't doing what I'm doing. I
It's
would
fun, man.
100%.
Like it could be stressful, but it could also like the highs are highs and the
Yeah.
lows are super low, right? Like I know you
It's
chat
like,
with Gabe. Gabe is he's a true OG affiliate to this day. He could describe it probably better than anyone. Like I don't know
yeah,
anyone that got in when he got in and has lasted as long,
yeah,
truly doing it just as an affiliate, not as a brand owner or an advertiser.
yeah. Someone who's not scaled into it in that way, right? Yeah, he's I don't know. It's like the industry is like fragmented, I feel like, but at the same time, like so close knit. Like everyone, like they always say it's like the relationship when you just have
100%
certain wrong. But I don't know. The everyone says info coaching is like the best business model in the world. You talk to these private equity guys, talk to us, whatever, and they're like, dude, like we'll take 5 years to make. I was had a Ravi on, and he was talking about how he was thinking of leaving ish info coaching to kind of go into private equity. Talk to all these
Really?
private equity guys, and they were like, hey, you'd understand that we take over 5 years in this position to do this and make 20 million after 5 years when we have our thing. He's like, you'll just make 4 million for 5 years straight, and you'll but same math, and your lifestyle is better, right? It was a extremely paraphrased and shortened version of what he said, but you just can't really beat the info coaching business model. And then you look at lead gen though, and the freedom because of the lack of
Responsibility.
team and responsibility and deliverability, like the all of that, right? But it carries a higher risk because and obviously much different issues with offers dying and this and like all these things. It has different issues than info coaching, but it also carries a much larger risk because of the spend, right? And that is not a thing in info coaching, especially for the organic guys. They just pump something up and make
Right.
80% margin, they make a few hundred grand a month. It's like smooth sailing. But you have delivery, you have team, you have consistency, you have all these things. And then, media buying, like you said, responsibility, a lot of the time it's like a much smaller team, smaller, all of that. And you see, there's a reason they call them like direct response degenerates. There's a reason they call them like X. Like
They
I
pride themselves
love it. I
on the
love it,
defense.
dude. I respect the shit out of it. So this is, yeah, but I don't know. That would 100% be the industry I'd be in.
Maybe we'll see you soon here, man. Who knows?
I don't know. Like I've got some connections, some stuff in that world. And then also the beauty of that world is you can be the gunslinger solo guy or one or two people or your couple VAs, and you can also be the guys like the Tyler Devons and you can go size.
Tyler's a beast.
Tyler's a beast.
Have you met him and Romano?
Yeah,
Romano as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got connected with them. I got on Gabe's, but me. That's actually zooming back to the original story. I bought Jeremy Kramer's. Profit Singularity something, whatever,
Yep.
like first when he first was running that. And I was living out in Arizona at the time, and I went out to their San Diego event that like came with it. And Chris Reader's on stage at that time. Chris Reader wasn't who Chris Reader is. Chris Reader was like a student that then was
He's
like
the
coming up.
face, basically,
Yeah,
of the
but
company.
yeah, exactly. And at that point, he was still a student. He was like a mentor inside that group, and then became what like Chris is a fucking boss too. And I went to the networking event, and I'm like introverted and weird, and I don't like that stuff. I didn't know anyone there, and me and these like two older mom ladies that were there, I got like talking to, and I was like, let's go to like the lobby bar instead. And so we left the little dinner thing or like the networking section around the pool and went down to the lobby bar. And at the lobby bar was the offer owner guy of the biggest ClickBank offer, and I'm forgetting his name, but he had spoken on stage that day. He's standing there, and next to him is Gabe Ansel, Tyler Devon, and I'm blanking on the other guy, but like a really, really big native media buyer. And I would just see like the watches and just see how they all are. And I was like, buzzed up enough that I just was willing to walk over and talk to him and said something to him. Next thing you know, we all go out to whatever district down in San Diego. We all are out at something district at like actual bars, and it's all those guys and me. Gabe buys bottles across the street, and we walk straight over there. First time I'd ever been at bottles at like Omnia or something. These girls I meet are like, oh, let's go to this warehouse party basically. So it's like 2 a.m. by now, and like all of this, and I'm with Tyler Devin and Gabe Ansel, and I have no idea who they are. And the next morning, I like look them up, and they have seven-figure entrepreneur, and they're talking about all this
Yep.
stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And for years, I just like randomly stayed in connect with both of them. I bought Gabe's course. I talked to Tyler every once in a while on text and stuff. Like, good dudes. But like, just funny
Awesome,
how we
man.
met. OG days.
Yeah, dude, that's how those shows still are. Like now that you're saying this, I think I might actually book a flight on Monday to New York for some of these.
Yeah,
I
someone just
said
asked
I
me if I
was
was going. Yeah.
I said I was not gonna go because I just got back from a month of like travel through Africa and shit. But I think I'm gonna look at flights right after right
It's
after
so
we hop
worth it.
off.
It's so worth it. Like you don't have to do the whole thing, right? Is the other part. It's like you can go to the Chandelier Bar one night, not 5 nights, right? You can go to the like whatever. You can do that. Um, I don't know. There's great connects. There's great connects you can have at those.
So speaking of connections, first, two big things I want to jam on before I let you go.
Yeah.
First, what's like your habits, everyday life? Like I think you're in Michigan right
Yeah,
now.
I'm in Michigan right now. Did the Puerto Rico thing, and then I moved back to like near hometown-ish because girlfriend, family, friends. But I'm out of here. I went through winter again, and I just won't do it. So I'm thinking either PR again or Arizona. I have more family out in Arizona, and there's a lot of digital people out there in like the Scottsdale realm.
Come down to Medellin, man. There's a good hub here. It's been
Dude, I don't do it. I don't
affiliates.
know. I don't.
Now,
I sit at this desk 95% of my life.
me
So
too.
everyone,
I don't
yeah,
do shit. I'm literally sitting
yeah,
here. I just have good weather. I don't like the
yeah.
guys
That's
that come
fair.
here, the guys that come to
Yeah,
Medellin, they're like, oh yeah, I go there for the weather, but they're really here for like the other shit.
yeah,
I'm actually here for the weather. Like I'm married. Like
yeah,
I'm so boring, man.
yeah. But like habit wise, I mean, thrive in terms of like it was a big change for me to go a little more public with this. Like I was working building the cave, and then whatever it was, 4.5 months ago, I just did a daily YouTube video every day. And that expanded me to have still be like my introvert self and stay home, but have like digital friends and connections. That was honestly the whole point. As I was like, I want talent, opportunities, and network means friends. Networks means talking to people like you and talking about similar stuff, and not love my 15-year like best friends, but I'm probably annoying them when all I want to talk about is like conversion rates and ascension rates and app to call
CPAs, LTVs.
yeah, and record months in this way. And it's like, again, to me, it's a number on a screen, and it's an accomplishment. It's a skill stack growth. It's not the fact that it's X millions or whatever. Like, it's not like that. And like, it can be framed as that. So this is really good for me to make friends, essentially. I also got access to talent. I also got endless opportunities in that way. But the dream setup, and I mean, I have 4 hours of meetings a week directly. And then beyond that, it's what am I building? What am I working on? I absolutely thrive on the early mornings. I got off of it on the tail end of that 120, but the first 60 or 80 days is like 4 or 5 a.m. up and like building the thing and doing whatever. Like I can't work at night. I can't do any of that anymore. I'm completely a morning person for that. So, but I have to be excited about what I'm doing because, like, today I got up at like 6:45, and I'm like, like I've got a handful of fun meetings and stuff, but they don't happen until this time. What am I going to build or work on? It's so exciting to me from 4 to 9 or whatever my first meeting was. And it's like,
Right.
if I don't have that like front of mind, then I'm just kind of meandering. So yeah, that wise. And then I think
Are
balance.
you're big into fitness, I'm guessing.
I'm what?
You're big into like working out
Yeah,
and
kind of. Yeah. I mean, not at the I just kind of go by, 80/20 a lot. And, I ate a full large pizza and a half last night. I had, I definitely go hard in that way, but every single day I will be at the gym no matter what. Every
You ever
single day.
tried jujitsu?
No, so I haven't done, that's a big thing is like I am like aesthetically look like fitness, but like I pick up really heavy stuff for 30 minutes a day and I eat a bunch of protein focus and obviously some beyond that and just hit a large calorie count. And like I clearly am genetically, and after having done this for 10 years, can look like, better in that way.
Yep.
But I have done a very bad job. I've like ran a marathon before. I've done some of those things, but like I've never had a steady cadence of a jujitsu or running or biking or like anything that's actually, good for your body, other than the aesthetics. So like that's definitely in the roadmap list. My buddy wanted to do an Ironman. I'm like, I don't know if I can sign up for 4 hours of training a day, but maybe one day.
Dude, you should try jujitsu. I've been training for almost 8 years, man. It's the best thing I did for myself to just kind of balance the craziness of online media buying, all
Yeah.
the bullshit we deal with. It's addictive. Like the personality types that do well in the online space, at least in the affiliate space, but I mean you're basically in the same world. The personality types tend to tap in really well and just like
Yeah.
gives like a good balance. And it's just a lot of more positives besides like the joint damage and little shit like that. It's
Yeah.
a huge net positive in my life.
Yeah, that's a good point. When I got back here, I'd never had a personal trainer, and I was recommended to this guy that has like they have their own private gym and they have like all the jerseys on the wall and it's all the pro football players and like all these people go here. So I was like, oh, I'll get one of these, and it was hilarious, right? You're lifting like 15-pound weights, but in this like perfect way.
Yeah.
You're doing like shoulder presses that start right here, so it's just that like you're doing all this crazy stuff that was very functional specific. But the guy that trained me, he was big into jujitsu, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
like,
Let's go.
I'll text him after this and be like, what gym do you go to?
Nice. Yeah, man. Let me know.
Yeah.
Dude, so let's finish up with YouTube. So you went on this run for 4.5 months now, you said,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 4 months every
Started
day.
off,
I went 120 days in a row every day.
what has been the outcome of that? And what was the
Yeah.
goal with you said like
Yeah.
build
Yeah.
like a network more or less, like just
Yeah.
friends, connections.
I have always thought about it. You always see all the people who do it. You're envious of it at some level when someone has XYZ access to this, or you see some fancy, cool Instagram, or they're with cool people or doing something. And like, I definitely had a bit of like comparison game of that. And when I like isolated it down and actually got my head clear, it was like, I want access to be able to have talent. I want access to have like friends and network. And when I go somewhere, I can have cool dinners with cool people and just know people. And then the opportunity is like a cool, fun thing. If someone sees it as valuable enough, or they want to pay me for coaching or consulting or any of this stuff or equity deals or whatever. So I bought Iman's course actually, which then right after I bought it, it was 8-figure license. And then it turned into consulting.com because he bought consulting.com and
Yep.
rebranded the whole thing and went through that. Right. So now it's called Quantum, which is funny because again, rebrand of what Ovens was. So now I'm in Quantum officially, but I paid whatever it was, 20 grand for them because it was like a personal branding focus at that time. Now it's shifted over to being disgustingly profitable info businesses, but at that time it was personal brand. And I got on there and it was just like all of the craziest shit on how to do like the most quality YouTube videos and like real distribution shorts and like own the algo in this way and that way, all this organic stuff, all this like event driven stuff. They crush, they just mob. And it's his whole C suite in there. And I was like, I just need to just make videos. So I don't need to like go crazy and buy the cameras and do the stuff and the lighting and like do all of that. So I just literally made a Loom video and uploaded it and then made a list of things I wanted to talk about, and then made another Loom video the next day. And I was like, all right, let's get like a catalog going on here of just like enough so that when I make these good videos, they like pop. And I just got in cadence and I just didn't stop. So I just literally was like Loom, 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 moved to Screen Studio instead of Loom. So it was a little bit fancier, nicer, higher quality recording, could change the size and the screen looked better. And then I moved from Google Docs to Miro boards. And then I just couldn't stop, and I just was like, should have stopped at 34 days. I was like, this is stupid. Like, what am I doing? I had like 280 or 340 or something subscribers. If I showed you the chart, it's literally like this. But at that time, I'd already had probably 5 people. I had a bunch of people reach out, but like 3 to 5 that were, I got a guy who's doing over 3 million a month in info reach out. I had 2 guys over 3 million a month in info reach out that, oh, my team was watching this and they sent it to me because you went super deep on order form routing for pixels, whatever, like
Dude,
something, right?
power of hyper
Mm.
targeted,
Yeah.
small, lower count
Yeah.
YouTube channel is so slept on, man. I
Yeah.
made a bunch of
100%.
money from 3 to 5,000 subs when I built an offer around how to unban like your Facebook stuff. There was a bunch of like hacks and strategies that I kind of like figured out through COVID when everyone was getting banned on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I made a bunch of money selling
Yeah.
that. Like
A
I
ton.
don't sell it anymore, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it crushes, and like, and the algo finds the people, algo finds the right people, and then it gets shared in the right little communities because it's niche enough. So yeah, so at that time, some kid had DM me and was asking me questions and was like, "Oh, this is gold, this is amazing." Everyone was very kind, and I am on a golf course with my buddies on day 34 or 35, and I never golf. This is hilarious. It's the only time I actually golf this entire year. And I'm out there and I'm like, just being an idiot on my YouTube studio app, just like refreshing shit, sitting in the passenger seat of a golf cart. And my thing's like this. And I'm like, oh, I finally got one of these outliers they talk about. Because in Nemon's thing, they're like, oh, you have this really nice edited video. Eventually, the algo picks it up and it gets, pushed impressions to the masses. You have an insane thumbnail and you just get all this click through rate and like whatever. And I had none of that. So I was like, oh, wow, I got an outlier. And I go on Instagram right after and I had DMs and this kid DM me. He's like, I'm about to put you on. I was like, what? And I'm like scrolling through it, and someone's like, "Find you from X." I'm like, "What's going on?" And I had like 100 followers on X. I didn't even have that the thing on my phone, so I had to download the app. And I get on there, and I had like hundreds of followers, and I had like 800. And I was like, "Wait a minute." And by end of day on that, so this kid tweeted just a picture of it and tagged my X. I went from 100 or something to like 3,000 on X in a day. And then on YouTube, I went from 300 to 2,800 or something like that in a day on YouTube and X. Both went from like boom. And then since then, I continue to go every day. And then X became my conversation around my videos. So they played completely in tandem. Like I think they're even to this day right now, like my YouTube is 80, 86, 86, and my X is probably this literally the same, is 87, 73.
What was the
Like
video? What was the video that
the video was me doing how our offer stack changed for the last like to 30 million a year. So it was like for 0 to 100K, we sold a low ticket recurring fitness app thing. Basically didn't work. Then we changed to a call funnel. The call funnel was the offer for the info product, and that got us to 1 million a month. And then changing the offer to high ticket one-to-one coaching is what got us to 3 million a month. So it was like these three steps. But like, dude, I had 28 other videos that are like that, just of a different topic point that were on
yeah.
this channel. And then it kind of like spiked up. And then I went another 30 days of that until I was at 60 something. And then now I had all these ex people that I knew. So the Adam Youngs, the Jasons, the whatever, like of that world, and lead gen and info coaching and agency and all that. And then I started interviewing people like randomly for my days. So I'd have like 3 days, 5 days a week that I do my solo videos. And then randomly I would get these people on, and those popped. I'd Eddie Maloof on as like the first official one that got like 12,000 views, which again, I'm not trying to go viral. I want like in that
Hyper
pocket.
niche? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And then I got
Dude, if
these.
you end up like Sean Kelly with Digital Social Hour, dude,
Yeah.
the guy banks. Like I roughly know his numbers, and he exploded during COVID. Now he
Yeah.
like we'll talk about his business model after. I wouldn't want to model how he monetizes, but it's
Yeah.
insane. It's
Yeah, no,
insane.
it's yeah. Yeah, that and then that's the last piece of that then is like, yeah, continue to grow. I hit to 120. I should have stopped at 90 or 100 or whatever, but I missed it on accident. So I was like, I'm not going until I hit a whole number. So I went for the 4 full months and then stopped doing dailies, still do 2 to 5 a week, depending. And then the big thing that happened with that was interesting, that was kind of like I got unlimited amounts of opportunities, like drowning in opportunities. People 50 grand for this. How can I pay for consulting? I'll give you a percentage of my company. Like
Wow.
endless amounts in my DM, endless amounts. And I just ended up being like, I'll take zero of this. I don't even want an hourly call. I don't want
That's how I
anything.
do it too. Yeah.
And I just flipped it that way and like definitely shot myself in the foot in a lot of ways. And also my videos, I'm like, I don't sell anything because I don't sell anything. I don't have a course. I don't have a this. I don't sell
Same.
anything in that way. And so yeah, so it just kind of turned into that, which again, I seriously, just from DMs alone that are like dollar values that were sent or equity number, like it's over $500,000 from that I was like, no. But I think that'll pay into the future in terms of the relationships, not even in like they'll then pay me later. I also am trying to do some stuff. I just don't want to get distracted. I want the main thing, and then I want some like high level info coaching consulting style version up here where I stay in the industry. I don't want to go over here into lead gen because I think I'll get distracted. I don't want to go over here into SaaS. I think I'll get distracted. Real estate, way distracted. Like I
So
want to
you
just
want
stay
to
in my
stay
lane.
hyper info specific.
Info coaching, yeah. I think that for the monetization models, and the businesses, and then once I have the people and the systems and everything continuing, which I already have, but like really, really running it, where I'm not like kind of still checking in on it, then what I can do with my 8, 10, 15 hours a day that I was there, I can learn and interest map and do these other things, but I don't need to be like, because I'll always do that. I'll always buy a lead gen course, and for an entire weekend, all I'll do is sit here and watch 80 hours of something like, you know, like over 2 weekends, I'll literally consume an entire thing and just build a whole Notion doc and be like, oh, that's interesting, and get one nugget out of it. That's why these are so amazing. It's because like you'll
Always just
say
one
something
baby, right?
and I'll
Yeah.
get one nugget and I'll be like, oh, like someone said something about a webinar thing, and I was like, interesting. And now next week we have this big thing that's happening because of that one conversation I had that was a 12
And
second.
you, well, you took action on it. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the
Exactly.
lesson, right? Do you
Yeah, take
think
action on it. And with size is my favorite part, is like with size. People are like, oh, that's not that big of a thing. I'm like, bro, when it's 200K a day and you get a 5% lift because of something that someone said, yeah, no, it adds up.
do you think do you think you've like so what goes through your head if as you think about it now and look back when I asked this, you already were good financially. It wasn't like you were trying to hustle from the bottom up. Like you see a lot of guys like sliding your DMs, trying to pitch you on
Yeah.
shit, right? You were just
Yeah.
putting out content just to put it out,
Yep.
right? And it was really, and it wasn't crazy editing. It was just raw.
Yeah.
And like you, dude, you said loom videos at first.
Yeah.
How do you think about it as you look back on the last few months and you put all this great content out, just like value driven, not and doing, having done it from not being in a position where you needed it to make you money? Like, but how do you
Yeah,
move
I mean,
forward?
it's a superpower for sure. I mean, yeah, such a superpower. I mean, Hormozy did it in a very, well way, which was, I don't want to sell you anything. I don't want just constant value. Now he flipped onto the side of like he has an info coaching entire thing, right? It's all, it's books and seminars, trainings, and ascension and the whole thing. So like, I respect the shit out of it. Like
He
that's
grew
awesome.
with that,
He
with
grew
that.
with that, with the
Yeah.
other side, which is, here's all this free value, here's all the shit I'm actually doing. Gary Vee forever was like, don't create content, literally just document, which is like, but in order to document, you have to do shit. You have to be doing something to
Yes.
document. And it's like, if you're not, so that's what all my videos, I'd be like, right now, it's really important to me talking about marketing funnels because that's all I'm working on. The next week, it was like all about sales and stuff because I was hiring a CSO and structures and comp models and whatever. And the next week, it was operational this because I changed all the op org chart and took over officially as like operator of across C-suite. And like, I was just yapping and shooting a shit on what I was doing in that moment. And again, with no expectation of, oh yeah, cool, I'll take these 2Ks or 20Ks or whatever for time, swap for consulting, which again, I'm like kind of back and forth on because I think that's another thing I can learn from. But I just do them for free. I'm like, send me a Loom or like a Google Doc, and at 4 in the morning, I'll just rip through them and answer. And then I started doing weekly Q&As, which is a big one. I started having people submit to a type form and just be like, ask your question, give as much context as possible. And I would screenshot the entire thing and put it inside of a Miro. And on Saturday, I would sit here with a coffee and a Zin or whatever. And I would go for like an hour long, just answering every person's question in one
And that's your
as my
content.
video, as my video for Saturday. So to
Dude,
this guy is a beginner.
I'm
This
gonna
guy is,
watch, I'm gonna go back and watch this video because I'm literally like, just so you know, I hit you up. I was like, fuck, I see Ryan's killing it. He's got some awesome people on. And I'm like, I'm such a douchebag. I need to bring my camera guy and do all this like
oh,
fancy,
no, yeah.
and
Dude,
that's
yeah.
cool, right? Like it doesn't
It's
hurt,
very cool. It's very
but
cool. And like,
but it's a
no one's grass
reason,
is greener because I see
but it's a
that shit and
reason
I'm
not to
like,
film. It's a reason not to
yeah,
film.
that's fair. That's fair.
Right. So, like, I just want to personally say thank you because A, this conversation came because you've been putting out the videos, but B, I probably would have delayed this until we could have aligned our schedules in person, which would have been fucking hard, man. Like,
Yeah. It would have been fucking hard. Yeah. And again, I do the ones in person when it works. And the one with Jeremy is like one of my top videos. We sat down in some content HQ studio in Miami. We sat down from 8 p.m. to midnight on a Friday when I landed, and I did 2 back-to-backs. And like, you make it work when you can in person, you get higher quality, you get all this kind of stuff. But like, if your entire business is not that, like, like Chris or like any of these guys that go travel around, have 5 in a week and do all that kind of stuff, like, if it's not your business,
it's not
like,
my business. Like, I
exactly.
guess
It's like
it's
it's an extension of it, right?
right.
So I dream state is, yeah, I had a Gary V crew sitting in the other room and they're coming in here and filming, and whenever I go anywhere and whatever, but like then I got to manage that team, and for what? Like, I don't know, it's just not as important to me. But
No, I feel you, man. Yeah, I've actually so on this last travel we hopped around like Europe, Middle East, Africa the last 4-ish weeks. And I would take time like we like with points I flew in like Emirates first and shit. So I was like I was doing vlogs in the bar, in the airport, like in the like nice lounges in Doha and shit. So I'm experimenting with that too, just like a different
Yeah.
man, because
Rafi.
we watch
Rafi is someone good to look at that.
yeah,
Rafi just launched a
yeah.
blog channel and he's doing that all about like life. And his whole thing is now like his development of like his relationship and his like personal life and that. And then in connection to the info coaching. And then he's got all the very tactical, very, result driven info coaching biz. And he has those stacked on top of each other where it's like nice YouTube videos that systematized. And then over here, he's doing like a vlog, fun life version. And I think that's cool.
I'll
Cool.
let you know how it goes, man. Like
Yeah.
I'll be sure it's stats on it. I don't know how it's gonna do on the same channel, like mixed in with the
He has
technical
them split. He
podcasts.
split them. He
Yeah,
split them.
I'm too lazy. I'm
Yeah.
super like, Chad about this shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I actually was when Iman's thing, Mike Thurston was there and he was talking about how his channel was all fitness and then now turned very lifestyle and like has grown to this huge thing. And they were joking that he has the highest income to lifestyle like ratio of anyone they know because he just is like this perfect thing, makes all whatever that he designed perfectly. But he was talking about how he has this plans to do split channels and go back to that because like the platforms reward it for the guys that are like really
yeah, at that level,
this
it
is their
makes sense.
business, right?
Yeah.
So cool. All right, I appreciate you. I gotta pop on
Oh,
home, but
how can people connect with you? We'll obviously link
just
back,
my
but
name. Just my
yeah,
name, Ryan Clogg, Clogg on anything. It's X, Instagram. I don't know what to post because I sit at the desk 95% of the time, but I've 4X my following or whatever just from YouTube, which is hilarious. I had like 800 followers on that. It's funny, but
got you, man. We'll link back, we'll tag, we'll shout, we'll do it all right. Thank you
I
again.
love it.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Talk